Hello. Please like, subscribe and share. There you go. You got it right. I've done one of those tutorial things, and apparently it's important I say that. We are doing well on the subscriptions, though. We're like edging towards the 30,000 mark. Yay! So, free school meals. I've just been on GB News. It was very exciting. I do like them. Talking about why, well, lots of things. Should taxpayers be funding children to have their meals at school? And that's effectively what it is. It's not free school meals. It's taxpayer funded meals where the party in charge choose how they're going to spend your tax, ever was thus. It's not. Children that need it shouldn't have it. Never has been, never will be. Children that need free school meals should have them. I don't think they should be branded as free school meals. I think that's really alienating. It carries a stigma. Lots of children from back in my day, still lots of adults now, still carry trauma from that and the real shame that was associated with free school meals. So I feel like we need to change the name in the first place. But it's not free, it's taxpayer funded. And where do we stop? Where do we stop the state funding parental responsibilities? Where do we stop the state intervening? And why are the state intervening? Let's not be confused with this being something nice that they wanted to do for us. It's not. What they're going to have to do is raise tax to afford what they're spending on free school meals. They want to curry our favour. They want us to be their friends. They want us to like them by saying things like we're going to give free school meals so that we then don't argue so much when they say, well, we've got to raise taxes to fund it. And of course, they raise taxes to fund it and then they give a little bit to free school meals and more to what they want to fund. So it's a tax raiser. And it's another example of Keir Starmer, Rachel Reeves, Bridget Phillipson doing exactly what they want. Not what you want, not what I want, what they want. So if we look at free school meals that are in school at the minute, schools can't meet the budget. They can't afford them. They don't have enough money right now to feed kids at school. So they're taking it from other areas of the budget. So they're taking it, we know that they're cutting Latin and maths. We know lots of courses are being cut. We know that we're specialist teachers down. We know that we're teaching assistants down. That we know that we're not renewing teacher contracts and we're making teachers redundant. And Bridget Phillipson will turn around and tell you, well, we've got a falling birth rate, so it's all okay. That's utter rubbish. And we'll do another video on the falling birth rate actually because it will take me forever. But there's lots of smoke screens as to what's going on. And the long and the short of it is we're putting less money into schools. We're blaming the independent sector saying, well, it's all their fault anyway. So if we want more money, they can pay for it. And free school meals are being squeezed. So what we've done is in the same way with the independent sector moving into the state sector. We've had a system that was not really coping with the demand, but was sort of limping on. And now we're adding more kids into that, but we're not adding any money. Now, you'll hear over the next few days that we're ploughing X, Y, Z into it. Where from? Where's that money from? And Keir Starmer and Bridget Phillipson and Rachel Reeves won't answer the question. They won't tell you where that money's from. Now, there's two reasons for that. One, they don't know. Two, they don't have it. So why then announce today that we're going to put free school meals into schools? Is it anything to do with taking the heat off everything else that's going on in the political spectrum as we see it? And my opinion is yes. If we talk about free school meals, that's a nice thing to do. We're going to be less cross about the amount of criminals that are being released back onto our streets. If we talk about free school meals, we're going to be less cross about all of the trade deals that are happening left, right and centre that aren't really trade deals for us. They're trade throw you under the buses. It's another propaganda spin. And effectively, that's what this Labour government is becoming better and better and better at, which is spinning propaganda. Now, before somebody turns around and says, well, we had 14 years of doing that with the Tories, I never said we didn't, ever. And I don't think we wouldn't get it if we had reform. I think it's politics. It's what they do. They spin. They should all be DJs spinning the wheel instead of politicians. But what I am seeing, and this is where I will put my neck on the line, when I watched Prime Minister's questions, and I did see Kemi Badenoch go for Keir Starmer, I saw integrity. And I saw somebody speaking as freely, almost as I do, and saying, it's not good enough. It's all lies. Now, someone's immediately going to turn around and go, well, that's what the Tories did for the last 14 years. Again, don't disagree. But I'm seeing a shift in how we're moving forwards. I'm seeing a shift in some politicians, and there's some in each party, to be fair. There's a few politicians in each party who are better than the rest. who are owning it, who are saying, I don't think this is good enough. They have morals, basically. They have morals and they have a conscience. There's not enough of them, but there are a few. So the question is, where do we go with this? Where do we go? The headline is free school meals, but the bigger issue is, what are we hiding, and why are we making these empty promises that we can't cash that check? There is no money. Keir Starmer keeps talking about how he's filled the £22 billion pound black hole. So we didn't know that it existed. We have no documentary evidence of the £22 billion black hole, but now he says he's filled it. So now he's filled it. Can we move on from that? No, we can't, because he still has to constantly refer to the financial mess that this government inherited. And I heard Bridget Phillipson doing it on the radio this morning. It's like, well, hang on a minute, I thought we'd fix that. How long are we going to keep repairing the financial mess that you inherited until we start addressing the financial mess that you're creating? And a really interesting thread on X about Liz Truss. Now, everyone's got their opinion on Liz Truss, and it's basically the mainstream media opinion of Liz Truss, which was that she broke the economy. And I don't think that there aren't certain questions that need answering. But the point was made, did she break it more than Rachel Reeves is? Did she get us into a worse state than Rachel Reeves did? And we can talk about the value of gold in that particular instance. But now that we're looking moving forwards with our own projection for the UK with Rachel Reeves in charge, did Liz Truss do a worse job? And the overarching feeling that's coming out is actually, no, she didn't. She was less of a danger than this one. This one is a massive danger. So that was a sort of around the houses free school meals chat. But as you can see, this whole thing is so much bigger than whether we're giving a child a free school meal. But of course, it's just easier to say that we are doing that, because opponents to that will be vilified. If you say, I oppose free school meals for XYZ children, you will get accused of not wanting children to be brought out of poverty. You will be accused of wanting children to go hungry. You will be accused of all kinds of child cruelty. It's just not true. Ever. No one has ever said children that need feeding shouldn't be fed. But the question is now, why are the state moving the goalposts? Who's funding it? Why are we saying it's free when it's taxpayer funded? And by moving those goalposts over who can apply for it. And by the way, this is coming in September 26. So we're not feeding them now. We're not starting in September 25. We've recognised, according to the government, that there's this big group of children that are hungry, but they can wait a year until they're fed. So again, that begs the question, well, is it on the agenda or is it not? It's my favourite phrase, pick a lane. I might actually, have I said this, get a mug made, because I'm always drinking my tea. I might have a mug made that says pick a lane, and we can all have one, because I just think it's true. Pick a lane. Are they hungry or are they not? Anyway, I'll see if I can upload the GB News link to this. I don't know how I'm going to do that. I've only just managed to say, can you like, subscribe and share? Yay! 3 out of 3. But I will try. But it's an interesting topic. It's an interesting thing to think about, because it's actually the peg that everything hangs on. And to me, highlights very, very clearly the lies this government are prepared to tell to get what they want, in my opinion. Go on, Steve, start typing.